So let's start from what Swift means. Swift means SignWriting Improved Fast Transcriber. And the main aim of our application was to climb on the shoulder of giants, where the giant is you, in order to create something most accessible from the point of view of user-centered design, just taking into account possible problems that people can find in browsing the interface of SignMaker. Some examples were shown by Claudia before, and our aim was just to create something which is easier to use in order to delete some barriers between the user and the glyphs, so that they can concentrate on glyphs and not on how to search them. Okay? But without your base, we could not have started at all. So that we thank you for very precious work, and we took it as an inspiration to go forward. Okay? Another note that I would like to add is about the name of the project. SWORD means SignWriting Oriented Resources for the Deaf. And I like this word not only because I invented the acronym, but also because SWORD is a tool to cut the fog around the problems that deaf people can find in the digital world. Because many colleagues of mine, even those working on human-computer interaction, still think that it is sufficient just to write instead of transmitting audio in order to support deaf people. No, many few people are aware of the fact that sign language is like the native language for many people, and most of all is the preferred language for many people. So that just substituting video with text is not sufficient to support their digital inclusion. Okay? And even if you look at the WO3C initiative, the Web Accessibility Initiative, they say a lot about blind people, which is good, but they say very little about deafness, about how to support deaf people. Now, going to my presentation, to our work. We started from a user-centered approach in order to improve the way people can compose signs using a digital editor. Can you please switch next slides, please? Can you show the slide?
I'm showing it right now. Can you see it?
Ah, okay, sorry. So, no, I see you. I don't see the slide. Okay. So, okay, I see here.
Okay, now I go here. Can you see your slide?
Yeah. So, the first slide is not so important because it is just an outline of my talk. Please, next. Now, the next is just a very short story of SignWriting, but I think that people is well aware of how SignWriting has changed the inclusion of deaf people in digital world, so that since the system was informatized, it was possible to create digital newspaper, books, and websites using this language. The digital versions of the glyphs made this possible, and most of all, the conceptual organization of the ISWA code for the glyphs. Such digital editors have much. Please next. Work much on the same. Next, please.
Okay. Now, can you see the screen?
Yeah.
I know. Can you see the screen? I'm going to put it up again.
Okay. Next, please.
Okay. It says overview. Is that what you want?
No. It's okay. It's okay.
All right.
Let me. I was lost in presentation. Sorry. Let me.
All right. Well, let me explain. Eddie, can you hear us?
Yes,
Eddie,
I hear you.
Okay, could you leave, darling? See, this is for the presenters only, and you need to be watching on another link. There's another way to watch the program without you being here in the presentation.
Yes, okay.
If you went to SignWriting, if you leave the Google Hangout and go to SignWriting.org, you can actually watch the program without being inside our presentation.
Okay.
This link is only when we're presenting, and you need to go to SignWriting.org to watch it, and then we'll see you at your presentation number 34. Is that what it is?
Okay.
on the last day.
See you later.
Sorry. Okay, it's so confusing. Bye-bye. Sorry, Maria. It is really fascinating.
No problem. It's funny. No problem. It's a great experience. It's nice to meet all together. No problem.
It's like being in a person's home, you know, and everybody's sitting around and chatting, you know.
Okay, so we started from the basic requirements for any SignWriting digital editor, which is first of all to provide an engine just to search or browse glyphs, and then it must be possible to insert the chosen glyphs into. No, please, backwards. Back.
Oh, you want to go to a slide now? Okay, you want to go back one? Okay.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay.
Oh.
Go further.
All right. Well, see, the problem here, Maria, just so you know, when you talk, I have to go back to you, or otherwise the interpreter won't be able to interpret you.
Okay.
So, but would you like me to go to the slide? Then you need to stop talking. Although tell us what to do. You want right now? Can you see the screen? I just clicked on it, and it shows a slide.
Okay. You have to go 2 slides further.
Forward. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Steve is doing it.
Okay.
There we are.
There we are. Okay.
Wait a minute. Let everybody read for 1 minute.
Okay.
And then we're going to go back when you're talking. So I'm going to read this for 2 seconds.
Okay.
I think I have the understanding of what you're going to talk about. And now I'm going to click back on you. And you are now showing up. And now you start talking.
Okay.
Okay.
So, despite the differences among different editors, we have some basic requirements, which are to provide a way to find a glyph or to browse the glyph set, a way to easily insert the chosen glyph in a drawing area, to manage glyph in this area, and then to save the sign or even the text written in SignWriting in a comfortable way. Next slide, please. Okay, now this is the original interface of the SignMaker, which was our starting point. As Claudia was pointing out, the only maybe problem that we found out from the point of view of human-computer interaction we found basically two issues with this interface. The first one is that similar signs on different planes are quite far from each other, so that people may get lost in navigation, in browsing. And the other possible issue is the addition of text to icons in order to better clarify such icons. We mainly introduced modification in these two aspects, in navigation engine and in trying to make it easier to understand the meaning of the buttons without using text. As for this latter issue, we first of all organized the functions so that their groups of consistent functions are close to each other. And the other help that we gave to the user was to substitute text with animation. As we will see, the buttons are auto-explaining. You pass, using the rollover mechanism, you pass over the button, and the short animation starts, showing you what the button is going to have, how the button is going to affect the glyph on the drawing area. Okay. Next slide, please. No, I already said this. Next. Now,
here we go.
Okay. Now, going back to the most crucial problem, that is the search area for the glyphs. We thought about how a person imagines the choice of a glyph. And we started from the organization of ISWA in order to find out a more natural way. There is a very a recent definition of natural interfaces, which usually refers to the channel you use, gesture instead of typing, for example. But naturalness may also refer to what you think the interface should show you. So, thinking about the way people use sign languages, I think the most immediate reference is to the body part, which is involved in a glyph, which is represented by a glyph. Okay? And so, next slide, please. We started analyzing these aspects with the group by Elena Pizzuto and with Claudia and with the other researchers of the SignWriting group. And we tried to figure out which new features could have simplified the navigation of users within the editing interface. Next slide, please. Okay. Some minutes, 1 minute just to look at the... Okay. Okay, you can see which are the main elements on the interface. You can notice that the buttons under the drawing area have been divided in two main zones. One is the handling of the drawing area with save, erase, and so on. The bottom part is the handling of individual signs, so rotation, reflection, deletion, and the last, the one with the brush, is for drawing ad hoc signs. These are as for the drawing area. And if you look at the browsing part, the most relevant element is what we call the puppet. Deaf people, I don't know why, deaf people don't like this term. But for us, she is still the puppet. And when you click on the body, on individual parts of the puppet body, you highlight and you are drawn in relevant areas of the ISVA glyph set. Next, please. Okay. You can see here in this slide that you have everything is related, or almost everything is related with hand glyphs. So you have configurations and movements. Notice that you also have two main boxes. This means that you can choose from both of them. You can choose both from configuration and from movements. If you look at configuration, you have different sub-boxes, small boxes, and you can choose one element from each of them. You can choose the side of the hand, right hand versus left hand. You can choose the number of fingers. You can choose the orientation. You can choose the plane, and you can choose the rotation. Notice that everything concerns hand configuration is there, and there is no predefined order in the choice. You can choose only one element from each blue box, and as you choose elements, the set of glyphs which is proposed to you is smaller. And at the end, of course, it is not possible to arrive to a single glyph, but you can ultimately arrive to a set of 5 to 10 glyphs, from which it is very easy to choose your desired one, to drag it and drop it on the drawing area. Next. Sorry. Okay. I think there is an inversion in slides here. My fault, no problem. Let's go to the next one and then maybe back. So, for example, another cue that we give to the user is to give something like a summary of the signs that can be found starting from that part of the body. Okay? Of course, signs like contacts and repetitions are not related to a specific part of the body, so that they are under the puppet. Okay? Returning back to the previous okay. What we give in this area is the possibility to interact via click, drag, and drop. We give a natural and as natural as possible organization of glyphs, so that the user is not aware of how the glyphs are classified. They are just gathered according to an anatomical point of view, which seems to be the most natural one to choose a glyph. We have functionalities for glyph editing, like rotation, duplication, deletion, etc. We have multiple save options, which are PNG, which is the native format for the single glyphs. We have XML, which is the native format for SignMaker. But we also have a database form of saving. How is the database used? We will see that we have a very innovative function, which is like T9 for fonts. It means that while you are drawing a glyph in a drawing area and you are composing a sign, the system can suggest you glyphs which are most often used together with the one already present on the drawing area. And this may highly shorten the process of sign composition. How is this possible? This is possible because when we save a sign, we save it in the database together with the list of composing glyphs. And this allows to compute some statistics, which allow in turn to suggest the more probable glyphs that the user may join to the one already present on the board. It is to notice that while the whole system is language independent, because you use the same glyphs for Americans and language, for Italians and language, and so on. The hands of the puppet are the same in America, in Italy, and in France. However, the predictive text functionality that we offer with the hints, with the hinting zone, may be language dependent, because maybe that the composition of glyphs depends on the signs for each language, so that that part may be language dependent, of course. But this is like text prediction works on cellular phones. If you are using Italian, T9 works for Italian. If you are using English, T9 works for English words, okay? So this is not a limitation. It is just context sensitiveness, okay? Now, going forward again.
Oh, yes.
The support for SignWriting beginners is in the presence of graphic elements within the glyph search area, is in the presence of buttons which are used to modify the glyphs, and is on the use of mouse over activated animations instead of textual labels. Actually, this is more an help for deaf people rather than for beginners. Okay? However, it is useful even for non-deaf people, because we know that SignWriting can be used also from people that just want to learn how to use this system and how to transcribe sign languages. Next, please. Now we go again in detail. We have the puppet. The puppet plus some buttons which are for context, for punctuation, and for repetition. That is, anything which is not strictly related to anatomical districts of human body. If you want, you can, maybe you can show this slide for a while to people.
Okay, so then you need to not talk for 1 minute and let me show it.
Okay.
There.
Okay. Okay, we can go next.
Oh, the next slide? Okay.
Next slide. Okay, so once we choose a body part, you can have if you pass by a mouse over a part of the body, you have a suggestion of which are the glyphs that you can find in that section of the browser. While if you click on that body part, next slide, please. No, sorry. Sorry. Back again, and some minutes on this one. Okay. So, okay. Mouse over shows a summary of available glyphs under a certain part of the body. And this is only by mouse over that region. If you, okay, we can go to the next and show it for a while. Okay, I can speak now. If after mouse over you click on that part of the body, you go to the interface we said before, with everything has to do with that part of the body. Of course, the richer part is that related to hands, because a big number of glyphs is related to hands, orientation, side, number of fingers, the plane, the rotation, the movements, and so on. As I said before, every time that we click on one of next slide.
Okay.
We can show it for 1 minute. Next slide. You can have independent choices for each feature of the glyphs. You can show the slide for a while. Okay. Of course, we gathered the features of the glyph so that they are independent and not related to each other, so that you can choose the side of the hand independently from the number of fingers, independently from the plane, and so on. But you cannot choose two different number of fingers, of course. And this gives the rationale for grouping the categories of glyphs in the blue boxes, which are called the fruit boxes. Next slide. Show it for 1 minute. Okay, you can see that as the user performs a choice, the set of glyphs meeting the requirements selected so far is updated, and you can see them in the bottom part of the screen. Okay, the more choices you perform, the smaller, the more restricted is the set of glyphs which is shown to the user. Next, please. 1 minute. Okay, and you can see here how the set of glyphs is reduced from one choice to the next one. Okay? And at the end, you have in your bottom part of the screen the glyphs that you can directly drag and drop on the drawing area. Notice that it is not mandatory to have a choice for each box. If you find your glyph before, if you see it in the bottom part of the screen, you can immediately choose it. There is no rule saying that you have to arrive to the last box, to the last selection. As soon as you identify the glyph that you need, you can drag it on the drawing area. Okay?
So, Maria, we have around 10 minutes at most.
Okay, okay.
Because we have the next person starting at, the half hour. Sure.
So, jump one slide and go to the next.
The next slide, yes.
Okay, so it's for 1 minute. Here we have the glyph. The next one.
Oh, the next one after that. Okay, Steve, can you? There.
Next one.
We're at, okay, Swift Advanced Features.
Okay. This on the bottom. You can show the slide for a while. The one on the bottom is the hint panel. That is the panel that I said before, that according to the statistics in the database can suggest you the most probable glyphs that go with the head which is already in the drawing area. So that you can take glyphs directly from the hint panel without browsing the set of glyphs at all. Next slide. Of course, you can show the slide for a while. Okay. Even in this case, the more glyphs are already in the drawing area, the less hints you have, because the smaller is the set of possible combinations. Okay? Next. We already said that we can also draw glyph by hand. Next slide. So we have support for drawing glyphs using the mouse. You can show the slide for a while. Next. And we have next.
Next again.
Next again. We have support for signed stories, so that we can compose one sign at a time in order to have stories. Okay? Next. No, not interesting. We already spoke about this, that we can have support for many versions of ISWA.
So what would you like? Okay, next, yes.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, we need to...
There was...
Yeah, we need to stop soon, so are we on SWIFT testing? We're at a slide that says testing.
Yeah, it was interesting because we tested the usability of Swift with deaf users using a deaf-oriented adaptation of the Think Aloud protocol, and they were quite satisfied with the way Swift works. Okay? However, browsing is still a long duty, even if we have hints. That's why we are trying to recognize handwritten glyphs, and this will be the topic of the presentation by Fabrizio next time.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, exactly. would you like to keep talking? Do you want to go to another slide? Or
No,
are
we
you
can go to the conclusions. We can go to the last one with the conclusions.
Okay, we'll go to the last one. There it is, conclusions.
Okay, so we are trying to create this unified framework to have digital composition, recognition of handwritten SignWriting in order to be able to compute the same statistics and also support you in studying the patterns in SignWriting. But we are also working on transcribing video, passing from video to glyphs in order to give a more complete framework. That's all.
Wow, fabulous. Thank you. Thank you so much, Maria. It was beautiful. I appreciate it. I'm going to go back to you now for a minute. Whoa. Here we go, Maria. I want to thank you. You're wonderful. What a very... it's such a beautiful, detailed discussion of your software. I appreciate it so much. I love it. I'm planning to try to use it. I like the idea of the body and being able to click on parts of the body. I think that has great future. So we want to thank you so much for your hard work and a wonderful presentation that I appreciate and plan to look at again. I want to see it again so I can learn more. Every time I look at your PowerPoint, I'll learn more. So
we can communicate in the future too and work together too to this.
Yes, absolutely. And oh, it's our pleasure too. Thank you so much. And the reason we have to go now is I have to move on to the next presentation, which is a little more complex than you may realize because we have interpreters from Brazil. Wow. So we need to set them up. So I want to thank you so much. And we'll see Fabrizio in number 33.
Okay.
Bye-bye. And many kisses to Italy. We love Italy. We love France. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
So that I leave space for the other channel.
All right, darling. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye-bye.